Welcome to week 3 of the Thought Mosaic. We're talking about tools for awareness today. 14 people sent in their tools for awareness. So let's, real quick. Someone said this, response 11, I think, said this. The Thought Mosaic is one of the tools for awareness. And this made me really happy. It made me happy that you all are creating a tool for reflection that encourages and inspires us to be aware. So I'm really happy that one person at least thought that that what we are creating, what you all are creating really, was valuable and helpful. All right, now to the joke. At least one person said they laughed at the joke. So, actually no, two. One person said they laughed at the joke and one person said that they laughed at me telling the joke. Two guys are in a pub in Ireland. Irish guys, right? So the first guy says, "You know, man, I could never move to America." The second guy says, "Why not? What's wrong with America?" "Well, you know, they drive on the right side of the street, and I couldn't do that." "What's so bad about that?" Well, I tried doing it in Dublin the other day, and I didn't like it at all." So, what is awareness? So before we go into the specific tools for awareness, someone sort of gave their definition for what is self-awareness. So submission 12 says, "I think self-awareness is knowing/understanding your strengths, weaknesses, values, what you want to accomplish, and how you perceive and interpret the world." And then there are a couple of holistic approaches to answering the question. We'll start with PDBs. I know that this is an oversimplification of a complex question regarding tools for awareness, but I believe that only 4 tools are necessary. 1. Open eyes for information input. Open ears for information input. Open mind for information input and processing, initial processing. And 4, open heart for final processing and valid self-awareness. Another holistic approach to answering the question comes from submission number 8. Tools for awareness: self-respect, humility, courage, and care. To be yourself is to understand the things that you are not, but to also respect others that have those abilities. I think these are tools that leave you vulnerable sometimes and resilient in others. Furthermore, you may need different tools for different occasions. All right, so submission number 11 says, as Madeleine L'Anglais, I'm probably saying that wrong, describes the process through her character Sporos in A Wind at the Door, sometimes the deepening comes through quiet contemplation, and at other times through working out what it means to be one's best self in conversation with friends. It's the deepening that is the goal, and the way to it requires different tools on different occasions. Tools for awareness. All right, let's start the list. 1. Yoga/meditation. Submission 1 says, yoga helps me slow down and focus. Then I end with meditation. I'm not very good at it. My mind starts flying off in many directions. Focusing on breathing does help. Often, though, I need something more to focus on. Nature-inspired meditations help me. I think about being a lake, about sinking into the earth, about being still in my core, even while the surface might be windy and full of waves. Another favorite is the mountain. People may climb, sometimes with ice picks on my surface, but I am the mountain, and I'm solid and peaceful. Submission 11 mentions meditation retreats, where I've been pared down to the complete essential me without any trappings. 2. Being quiet. Submission 2 says, I stop sending and start receiving. My tool is to shut down sending information. When I hear myself pontificating, I just stop sending information, talking, and turn on my receiver. I engage much less because I am just a receiver site, recording information. I am always amazed at what I actually take in when this is all I am doing. 3. Getting away. Submission 3 says there is nothing quite like getting away from your current environment to put yourself and your situation in perspective. This generally creates a far more positive and therefore useful perspective than can be achieved in the situation. Further, walking and talking might be one escape. Speaking of walking and talking, 4 is interactions with people. Response 13 says, I think other people's responses to your actions can be a naturally occurring tool that brings about awareness. Other interactions with people, informal interactions. Submission 3 says, fallible as they may be, I feel the most incisive tool for self-awareness is close friends and family. I ask, they tell, more or less. If my wonderings are too personal for even that, I try to be a friend to myself and strip out all the rationalization of my behaviors while trying not to be so harsh a judge that I overlook the truth. Formal interactions. Submission 4 says, I usually use people. I do a lot of informational interviews where I simply seek out people and meet them with a set of questions. Now this ties in nicely with the next tool, 5, exploring. Submission 3 suggests trying just about everything to discover what you love, what you loathe, and who is the most curious being. One way of exploring is travel. So 6, travel. Submission 6 says, my greatest tool for awareness is travel. By putting myself in unfamiliar situations where language, cultural expectations, and even climate are different, I learn about what defines me as a 20-something American woman. Travel helps me push my boundaries by presenting me with different thought patterns. I can then choose to incorporate these into my own life by modifying habits, heuristics, or simple assumptions. 7, identify values. Yokoyama says, identify your values and act in accordance with them. If you do act against your values, you have either wronged yourself or perhaps you should have changed your values. Now I have a story on identifying values. The other day, I'm driving with my friend to go to lunch, and we can't figure out where we want to go. We want to go to this place that we're actually parked in the parking lot of, or go somewhere else. And so I say, let's flip a coin, which is actually my cell phone because we didn't have a coin. Because whenever you want to flip a coin, you never actually have the coin that you want to flip. So we flipped my cell phone, and it landed somewhere, and we're like, all right, let's go. But I realized that whenever I do this, whenever I flip a coin to make a decision, if it's not the decision that I really deep down wanted to happen, I stop. And I just sit with that feeling of, man, that's not the coin side that I wanted to be up, or that's not the side of myself that I wanted to be up to tell me to do this. And I do whatever I want to do regardless of what the coin said. So it's interesting that you can flip a coin to make a decision, for me at least, and then have like sort of a really strong gut reaction that says, no, don't do that. But it takes making the wrong decision to do something before you have that vibe, that feeling. So, just a little story. 8. Submission 3 suggests moving towards fear rather than away from it. Yokoyama suggests, present yourself with challenging situations. Experiment. If you want to test yourself to find out what you're really made of, take sensible risks. 9. Submission 7 says, as far as awareness of myself goes, one of the best tools I've used for over 25 years is something called effective people skills, similar to Myers-Briggs. It's a behavioral styles profile that provides you information on your habits, impacts, motivations, needs, and blind spots when it comes to your observable behavior. And even though observable behavior is a small part of our total selves, I found it to be an incredibly helpful way of understanding myself, the impact I'm having on others, and how I can better understand and meet the needs of others. 10. Non-action. Submission 14 says, one of the best tools that I can use to increase my awareness is non-action. Definitely not my usual habit energy, but something that allows me the time to let my mind open up to more possibilities. Non-action allows me more time to observe myself and situation and reflect. When I allow time for this, my awareness moves way past reaction and into a much more open-minded and creative place. 11. Conscious decision-making. Yokoyama says, First of all, you cannot get a sense of who you are until you decide who you are not. This means that your conception of self changes as you interact with the world around you. Because your environment is always changing, you must constantly ask yourself if what you are doing is something you would do. The person you were a second ago is slightly different than the person you are at this moment. You are changing in every moment. Therefore, at every moment of your existence, you have to decide who you are. 12. A spot in nature. Ayanna Cleveland says, "Quiet time is so difficult to find where you are not concerned about 1,000 tasks at hand and 1,000 tasks you wish you could have completed better. But if I need time to reflect, I take a walk to a quiet place where I am surrounded by God's handiwork. Once I have let my mind rest and allowed myself only to think of my spot in life and where I am going, I allow the beautiful music of nature to fill my soul and drive me to think of my progression forward. Find a favorite spot and return there often."